kinda hot. Hello all. Today we're going to be talking about psychosomatic pain. Now, I don't have it quite too much anymore, but last year I was diagnosed with it. I wrote a little something. Oh my god. Anyway, let's get into this. I used to not like silence at night as I had to sleep, because when I would stop doing or listening, I was able to reflect, and I did not want to be swamped by my thoughts and my hurts and traumas of the past and the passing days that I just needed to get through. The longer I tried to ignore my pain, and I saw how someone close to me was affected by not talking about their past and pain and not wanting to think about it. This writing, oh my gosh. I realized I had to do something to fix it. They kept hurting me more and more, his past demons becoming him as he would not face them. They overtook him. The longer I ran from mine, the more they overtook me. So much hurt. Hurt people, and the more he hurt me, the worse of a person I also became. Every night I listened to things to fall asleep, because if I didn't, I would think and cry and freak out at where I was in life. This is not what I had wanted. The longer I ignored and made enough noise to not hear my mind, and the more I filled my days with unbroken routines to get me through, the worse I got. In trying to hold in my hurt, some days I would have outbursts. Pain filled my body, tears flooded my face and fell like waterfalls in the wet season. My dams were no longer working. Hurt and hurt and hurt over years, and not really escaping led to so much pain. I do not just mean mental pain. My brain knew what it had to do, I guess, for if it did not, I would continue to ignore it. My body would become overwhelmed by pain. I could not even stand nor barely move, which is good, because the mental pain in those moments would have ended it. Well, me. So that's just a little thing I've wrote about my psychosomatic pain. Oh my god, Buffy, you're on my laptop. I wanted to read some information of it. Can you see this little Buffy? This is Buffy. No. And we got Possum. I'm not sure if you can see Possum. Got Possum. Some books. Nut bars. Medicine. Snack box. Which, the cat's like laying on it, so it's more like a cat box now, not a snack box. Anyway, I wanted to read out some information on psychosomatic pain. But Buffy is laying down here. Can I please have my laptop, Buffy? I'm sorry. Oh, you're not happy. Buffy, please do not knock that down. She's looking up at my phone. Psychosomatic disorder, also known as like psychosomatic pain and a few other things. Psychosomatic disorder is a psychological condition that leads to physiological symptoms, often without any medical explanation. It can affect almost any part of the body. People with the disorder tend to seek frequent medical attention, becoming frustrated with no diagnosis. Behavioral therapy and stress reduction may help. I'm reading off my.clevelandclinic.org. For me, I was diagnosed after going to medical professionals across a year. I was diagnosed with a brain tumor last year as well, but my neurosurgeon said the brain tumor was not causing my pain, so I went to some other neurologists and doctors and was diagnosed with psychosomatic pain. Now, you don't have to go through extensive testing to be diagnosed with it, but I have a few different things going on. Some medical professionals, they can diagnose it without extensive testing because that can actually make it worse from more stress, which mine got extremely worse after being diagnosed with a brain tumor and thinking that I would need it out in the next few months, and oh my gosh. I went to a pain specialist who said that with my psychosomatic pain, the best course of action was going to therapy or a mental hospital. I went to a mental hospital for a while, but not before going to another pain specialist who got me addicted to opioids. Let's not talk about that. What is psychosomatic pain disorder? Psychosomatic disorder is a psychological condition involving the occurrence of psychological symptoms, usually lacking a medical explanation. People with this condition may have excessive thoughts, feelings, and concerns about the symptoms, which affects their ability to function well. How common is the psychosomatic symptom disorder? It occurs in about 5 to 7% of the general population. Apparently, the reasons are unknown. And apparently, women, so I'm sure it wasn't I can't say the word. They're probably talking about AFAB, women assigned to female at birth. Women have somatic pain about 10 times more often than men. It's obvious that psychosomatic pain is caused by bad mental health or mental stress or stress and stuff. And some sort of feeling trapped where you are at life, which is what caused mine to be so bad. Who might have somatic symptoms? Anyone can have somatic symptoms at any age. Studies have found that certain things may make people more likely to have somatic symptoms, such as chaotic lifestyle, difficulty recognizing and expressing emotions. For me, I was trying to ignore a lot of stuff instead of facing it, because I just wanted to get through uni and life, and then I would get to a point in life where I could focus on being happy and doing everything I wanted to do. But no, you gotta focus on being happy in the here and now. Buffy's just giving herself a lip bath down, so if my camera's wobbling, anyway, what else can make people more likely to have symptoms is childhood neglect, a history of SA, sexual abuse, and other psychological conditions such as depression or personality disorders, substance abuse, such as alcoholism or drug addiction, and unemployment. Now, how can psychosomatic disorder affect my body? Psychosomatic disorder can affect almost any part of the body. Common examples include fatigue, insomnia, aches and pains, such as muscle pain and back pain. Now, the majority of mine would be in like my muscles and back, but it would often kind of like spread from my spine to the rest of my body. And when I was in like big meltdowns, crying and pretty much wanting to scream and just explode, my body would get in so much pain, and I would, you know, lose my ability to walk and really move at all. Often I would find myself in a ball on the ground or on the couch, or might be able to wiggle around a bit, but yeah, there's just this memory in my head right now of me laying on the kitchen floor. Well, not really laying. Anyway, if it wasn't for my psychosomatic pain, I was just having so much mental torment that I just wanted to disappear, let's say. My bed is so dirty because of these cats. Oh my gosh, I'm just flicking bits of stuff away. Okay, other things that the psychosomatic disorder can affect includes high blood pressure, trouble breathing, indigestion, which I've had a lot of digestion issues the past 6 months or so. My diet's a lot more restricted than it used to be. I might list some of my restrictions. Things like onion, garlic, chili, and those are things I really love. So I've been having a lot of plain food with some sauces and stuff. Oop, hope that's not on camera. The kitties giving each other a lick bath, but oh my gosh. Stop. Oh, they're so cute. They're not licking in a bad spot now. Oh, so cute. Possum was going to clean Buffy's little touche before. Anyway, yeah, so my diet was pretty restricted because I couldn't digest a lot of things. And by I couldn't digest a lot of things, I'm not joking. When I ate some foods that I couldn't digest, or I don't really have gluten these days. Last year, towards the start of the year, my doctors told me to stop having dairy and stop having gluten to see if that would help with my pain, and it made my inflammation pain less, so that was good. I found turmeric helped with my inflammation pain, so when I would have pasta and it was glutinous, I would just put a bunch of turmeric in it. You know, turmeric won't work for everyone's pain, but it does work for some inflammation pain. I would put a bunch in, like at least a tablespoon. Anyway, let's get on with this list. More things the psychosomatic disorder can affect or cause is headaches and migraines, erectile dysfunction, skin rashes, and stomach ulcers. Now, apparently, scientists aren't too sure why there's psychosomatic pain, but some believe that stress hormones and chemicals in the body cause damage or dysfunction. From research that I've done, what's it called? This stress hormone starts with a C. I found that my psychosomatic pain got rapidly worse after I experienced burnout at the end of 2021, I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, because 2021 was when I was doing a double degree at uni and I'd moved away and I was living with the partner I was with at the time, and that caused so much stress, especially at the end of the year with doing so many group assignments and being undiagnosed autistic ADHD, but I've got my ADHD diagnosis. Still in the process of getting the autism one. I usually remember, like I always remember this stressful one. Cortisol. So, from the research I've done, it looks like cortisol has a big impact on the body and how it experiences pain and things like fatigue. Cortisol is often found in an extremely high amount in the body when people experience burnout and go through burnout. Once you're starting burnout, you think, wow, this is bad, and then when you keep pushing, like say for 6 months or so, when you've started burnout, I suggest you don't keep pushing. You could become chronically ill. Like me, or my mum, who, when she experienced burnout, she kept pushing and going to work, trying to go to doctor's appointments, and chronically ill. Been off work for, how long now? Maybe 5 years, I'm not sure. I followed in her footsteps. I pushed myself too far. And whoops. Just trying to relax and chill. I've been journaling a bunch recently, like in the past couple months. I've been trying to journal more, doing some more art. That's good for getting my thoughts out. I used to love journaling, but when I felt like I was in unsafe situations, there was no way you'd catch me journaling. Because if someone was to read my journal and I already felt like I was in an unsafe situation, oh my gosh, like there was no way I could even like lead to that outcome happening. So I did not journal, just tried to ignore my thoughts. But journaling is great way to get your emotions out. If you don't want to talk to others or don't feel like you can. How are psychosomatic pain and other somatic symptoms treated? Several treatments can help people with somatic pain symptoms, including cognitive behavioral therapy, medicines such as antidepressants, mindfulness-based therapy, referral to a specialist in mental health, such as a psychiatrist or psychologist, and regular contact with your primary care provider. Now, feisty. I'm not sure if you two can both fit laying there. These kitties are so cute. Buffy was the one who got a little bit grumpy. She does that. She's the middle-aged cat. She was the baby when I brought my kitten home when I moved back home. Oh my gosh. She has not been that happy. The kitten is locked out of the room at the moment. Now, medications such as antidepressants, towards the start of last year, so 2022, I'm pretty sure that was, I started antidepressants. I found them to really help with my somatic pain, honestly. Been on them for like a year and a half now, almost. But in between, after about a year and a few months, I tried to stop, and I found that more of my pain and fatigue came back, so I started them again. Mindfulness-based therapy. Now, I think that one's a pretty good one. When I first moved home, I was in so much pain and so exhausted that sound, light, anything really caused extreme pain. When I first started experiencing the psychosomatic pain, it came about more when I was really distraught and stressed and upset. I wouldn't let emotion out and then it'd all build up. So I used to feel the pain when I'd have a meltdown, but it got to the point where it was pretty much constant for several months because I was under a lot of stress every time I was awake. I was thinking about, I've got all these medical appointments, I've want to run my business. I'm not well enough. I've put my business on pause, and I'm just trying to focus on my mental health now, because it's important that I get it good before really trying to push on with my life again, because I've just let it really take a back pedal. What's that term? Put it on the back step? I can't remember. What's that phrase people say? Back burner. I really ignored my mental health for a long time and was just trying to focus on having this life that I'd pictured. But then I started living a life that I didn't even imagine for myself. But I just ignored all that because I was like, one day I can. One day I can live the life I want. But now I'm focusing on mental health, and I'm out of uni. Like, I didn't even want to go to uni. I wanted to start a business, but like, I'd been told by people, you should go to uni, you might as well just study business at uni. You gotta have a backup plan. Gotta have a backup plan. No, you don't. You don't have to have a backup plan. Just do what you want in life. Oh my gosh. Because if I didn't go trying to do that backup plan, maybe I wouldn't be like this. But we don't have to think about the maybes, because this is the life I'm living now. Oh wait, I was talking about this mindfulness-based therapy. One thing that I loved at the mental health clinic was mindfulness. So the first week I was there was this mindfulness guy, young ones, love him. So good. Oh, he would just walk us through like this kind of, it was like meditative, but it was just mindfulness. And he'd teach us different strategies, like different breathing. One that I like was a humming one, a deep hum, to just ooh. One cat's opening the door and the kitten's waiting. That's what that hissing is. I suggest practicing mindfulness. Oh my god. Keep getting off track. I don't think I have a track at this point. It's kind of like, woo, always off track, because there's so many things I want to talk about. I think art is such a great mindfulness technique as well. Like, oh, the point I was on before. So the first week I was at, whoops, I'm not going to say the name. The first week I was at the mental health hospital. We had one mindfulness session that week, but people loved it so much that the next week we had 3, and then the next week I was there, we had it 5 days a week, because people loved it that much, and it was really helpful to people of all ages. They just got such, like, it really helped a lot of people. So I suggest trying mindfulness. And I might link some of the videos that I really like on YouTube to listen to mindfully. There's some that is just like water going through a rainforest in a creek, and then they might have some classical music on top. Now I'll move on. How can I prevent psychosomatic disorder? Strategies to reduce and manage stress may help you prevent or lessen somatic symptoms. Examples include: be realistic about what you can and can't control. Now, I can't control that I am chronically ill, but I can control how I think about myself as a chronically ill person. When I first moved home, I felt like my life was just over pretty much. Like, I felt like I had got to this really high point of success for my age, where people would view me a certain way, and I liked being viewed that way. I liked people being like, oh, you're doing a double degree at uni, you're living at a home, you're living with your partner, you've got a nice place. I loved that, but that's not exactly what I wanted. What I wanted was to be out and proud as a trans guy, which I am now. Look at the baby. Can you see the baby? The baby kitty. Look, he's small. Yeah, I'd actually been wanting to be out for 4 years or so, but I, in a small town, it's a bit backwards. Be realistic about what you can and can't control. Now, you can control how you think about things to an extent. One of the strategies I like is reframing. If you get negative thoughts, I'm pathetic, I'm living at home again when I was living away from home. Now I'm just living with my mum again. I feel so pathetic. To reframe that, I can be like, I am focusing on healing in my mental health, and my mum is helping me and letting me live at home, and also trying to help me get better, which is great. I am loved, I'm being helped, so that makes me feel more warm, happy. So that's nice. Exercise regularly. Does walking classes exercising regularly? Because I'm chronically ill. I did gardening yesterday though. I was pulling out weeds. Then I slept all day. By all day, I mean all day. It was 4:30 p.m. and I'm just like, maybe I should get out of bed. But it was also raining all day, so it's the vibes. The cats slept in here all day with me as well. Well, the 2 older cats did, and Gizmo, my child, who's about a year old now, she was just in and out of the room. What are you doing, Giz? Where are you? Journal to increase awareness of your thoughts and feelings. Yes, that's a great way. Journaling, I highly recommend. Oh my gosh. And it's also great to try and figure out your thoughts. Can you guys please stop? It's also a great way to organize your thoughts. Sometimes I have thoughts and memories just going around in my head again and again, and I'm like, I don't want to think about this. But sometimes, until you think about it. Not for everything though. Geez, really shows how my ADHD is in this. Because I'm not going to have ADHD medication at night. It's nighttime. Oh, Gizmo is in that spot now. She's chased Possum to another spot. Possum's down by the phone camera now. Get enough sleep? Yeah, I get so much sleep now. Whew. Oh my, that just brought back a memory. My new psychiatrist was like, I think you're sleeping too much, and I'm like, I'm chronically ill. Yeah, I just have to explain how my chronic illness affects me to a lot of people still. It's annoying, but it's what it is. Journal to increase awareness of your thoughts and feelings. Yes, I keep re-going over things. So, sometimes I have thoughts going around and around in my head, and they keep coming back, and it isn't until I have put those thoughts on paper that I'm able to reframe it or try and understand it in a different light, or try and get the other person's perspective. Because sometimes it just feels like too much to just internally think in your head. It's really good to get the thoughts out. Not that you have to. I also like doodling around my thoughts and stuff. Look at this art piece. Yes, pretty. I write over a lot of my stuff, but I didn't want to write. Please don't. I wonder if that got Buffy jumping. I write over a lot of my stuff, but I just love how pretty the colours look. Please don't walk on my laptop. Thank you, Buffy. Yes, you can go to your box. No! Leave Gizmo alone. Leave Gizmo alone. Limit alcohol and avoid smoking. I have not had much alcohol in the past year and a half, honestly. And a big reason was because of being on the medications I'm on. But when I was on opioids, there was no way I was mixing those. Because one time I was on my period. This was a year, no wait, wow. This was a couple years ago. Like, time has flown so fast. So a couple years ago, I was on my periods, and my period pain gets so bad that I'm prescribed opioids for it, but like a different type. It's just codeine. So I'd had a codeine, and hours later I was at a wedding and I'd forgot I had it earlier that day. All I had was a sip of my mum's wine, and I was, well, by a sip, I probably had a couple sips, so it's probably just like a normal, just a little swig. I had a little swig, and after a bit I was feeling so tipsy, and I was like, what is going on? And I was like, oh my, I had my medication earlier. So yeah, no mixing. I was not gonna go through that again. There was no way I was having alcohol while on all those medicines. But I'm just on one now that shouldn't be mixed, and only have that at night time. And the thing is, I shouldn't skip it because it does stop like muscle spasms and stuff in me. And I stopped driving for a year and a half. I've been really unwell for. It's been like a year since I hadn't been driving a lot. But with this medication, that stops me from having all the spasms, and I've been driving more. I stopped driving because one time I was just going along on the road, and there was a green light, and I was like, oh cool, my foot is stuck down. Lucky that light has turned green. No, by the time I get there, it's red again. Cars are slowing. My foot's stuck down because my leg's like cramped or spasmed down in a weird... Oh my gosh. So anyway, I use my other foot to step on the brake, and I pull on my handbrake, and oh my god, I stopped in time that I didn't hit the car that was stopped in front of me. I was like, I'm not driving again for ages. So I didn't really drive again for ages, apart from like a very short distant, like 5-minute drive that was more on a busy road highway. Whew. But I have been driving again in the past month, and I drove a couple hours the other week, so that was cool. How can I prevent psychosomatic disorder? I'm still going through that list. So maintain a healthy diet and weight. I do that face because I'm not going to go right into the story, but I did lose a lot of weight towards the end of last year, start of this year. That was partly due to not being able to digest as much, but I didn't really have an appetite either. Meditation also helps prevent psychosomatic disorders or lessen the symptoms. And practicing progressive muscle relaxation. One thing I found out is tensing like all your muscles in your body and then releasing. Apparently it helps this hormone or something release that makes you like happier, more relaxed. And the funny thing is, pretty much every morning when I'd wake up for just certain periods throughout the years, I would wake up and I just do a big stretch in the morning, like all my muscles and stuff, like, ooh, big stretch, tight body as soon as I wake up. And then I'd relax and I'd just lay there for a bit. Just, ready for the day. So, I should look into progressive muscle relaxation. Seek support from loved ones. Set limits to reduce pressure on yourself. Yes, reduce that pressure. I used to live my life just pressuring myself. Anyway, I think that's where I'll end the video, because otherwise it will probably just get so long and chaotic. Look at the kitties.